Hello, it's Burgess Taylor, and it is the Week 7 check-in for The Artist Way. Week 7 is called Recovering a Sense of Connection. This week it was wow. When I was reading it, it felt like she wrote this week specifically for me. It really just, I don't know, it resonated with me in a way that some of the other chapters didn't. And I think that's because I have had such a very hard time with the whole perfectionism thing, which causes self-doubt and fear and anxiety and stress and procrastination, and all of that seems to just go hand in hand. So I thought I'd kind of try to keep this brief, but she talks about listening, the perfectionism trap, risk. She talks about jealousy, listening. She says the pages train us to hear past our censor, and the artist dates help us pick up the voice of inspiration. Art is an act of tuning in and dropping down the well, intuitive voice that says, do this, try this, say this. Learning how to tune into that frequency has to do with synchronicity. She also says that it's about connecting. It's about listening to your inner voice, to your dreams, on receiving as well as doing. It's about establishing the right attitude, because the change in your attitude that's so important is our perception. Art is not about thinking something up, it's about getting something down. The quote that I used in the blab when I talked about the artist way is extremely appropriate for this week. Art is not a thing, it is a way, by Hubbard. Listening to your inner voice isn't always easy. Perfectionism. She says that perfectionism has nothing to do with getting it right, with fixing things or fixing it before you go any further, or with your standards. It is a refusal to let yourself move ahead. It's a loop, a vicious cycle, an obsessive, debilitating closed system that causes you to get stuck in the details of what you are writing and to lose sight of the whole. Perfectionism is not the quest for the best. It is a pursuit of the worst in ourselves, the part that tells us that nothing we do will ever be good enough, that we should try again. And she's so right. This is why I have been stuck. Evidently, I have not been able to, well, I didn't write for a long time. So it's been over a decade since I actually finished a novel. Now, I have finished a short story. I have finished a novella, but I have not finished an actual novel. That's what this past year and this year have been about. Finishing. Follow through. I took journalism. I was on the newspaper staff in high school. I was going to go to college on a scholarship for journalism. Things didn't work out, but I know the what, the when, the where, the how, the why when you write. So that's why being a pantser wasn't such a big deal for me, because in the back of my head, I was still thinking, okay, you need to get down the bare bones. The who, the what, the when, the where, the why, the how. Plotting just wasn't such a big deal, because in the back of my head, I knew, okay, she has to go through this, she has to do this, this has to happen in order for her to do this. How's she going to get out of this one? That kind of thing. And I knew. So I was actually, I guess, more of an astronaut, because in my head, I knew the beginning, the middle, and the end. I knew at least 3 or 4 things that were going to happen to her, that were going to be big things that were going to change her one way or the other. I just went from not writing and not being very creative other than poetry to now I'm creating art again, and I'm writing again, and I'm doing a lot of different things. And for a while there, it kind of felt like I had my hand in too many cookie jars, but I think I just wasn't organizing my time well enough. And now I have been trying to do that. I've been organizing my writing room, cleaning off my desk, getting clothes put up. I have gotten rid of more stuff. This morning, I looked at something, and at first I was going to keep it, and then I glanced at it when I went to fold it, and oh, there's a hole. I was like, I could sew that. No, when are you going to sew it? I mean, really? Are you really going to sew it? In the trash it went. I am not keeping things anymore that don't fit, that are ruined, that are stained, that have holes in them. I'm not doing it. My daughter the other day said, Mom, you're a hoarder. I'm not a hoarder, but I'm getting pretty damn close to, and it's just time to do something about it. So the success of creative recovery hinges on our ability to move out of the head and into action, to actually risk something. We deny that in order to first do something well, we must first be willing to do it badly, that it makes us feel safe, and safety is a very expensive illusion, she says. In order to risk, we must jettison our accepted limits. We must break through I can't because of whatever reason, because I'm too broke, because I'm too old, because I'm too shy, because I'm too whatever, busy, whatever word you want to use. If I didn't have to do it perfectly, I would try. And then you go through and you list things. It's part of one of the exercises. And she says, so do it. If you win, you win. And if you lose, you win. So try some of those things. You don't have to do it perfectly. When we're raising kids, when we're little or when we are little kids, people expect us to fail. They expect us to learn from our mistakes. If you don't teach kids how to do things and you do everything for them, you will enable them. And that's not a good thing. I have a 27-year-old son that is proof of that. And that is thanks to me and my mom. I thought about that. And, I'm expecting myself to get this first draft out first, get it done perfect. And then my editing is for what? Because my mentality is that it's supposed to be published worthy this first go round, maybe? I don't know. And that's the thing that I have been questioning myself about lately for the last few months, because I have been writing in bits and pieces, writing a scene here and there, writing 200 to 500 words a few times a week, but not on a consistent day-to-day basis. After reading this, after starting to read this chapter, I have already made a blog post. I've already organized some things on my morning pages are better. I feel better. And I'm writing, and I still need to finish putting the post-it notes up on my storyboard because I have that pretty much done. The first 3 chapters of my novel are written. I'm working on chapter 4, and then by the time I finish chapter 4, then I have chapters 6, 7, 8 done. So I need to write chapter 4, redo chapter 5, because that's written, but it doesn't make sense now because I changed so much at the beginning. But I'm working on all of that. And right now it's okay if I'm doing it in bits and pieces, but I need to write consistently every day. Even if it's only 250 words a day, I would rather write that than nothing on some days. So I'm thinking I'm just going to set my goal right now between now and when April's Camp NaNoWriMo starts at $500 words a day, $500, 500 words a day. And I'm going to continue to work on getting the outline done and preparing for camp so that I don't flop and end up with the soggy middle again because I screwed something up. Jealousy. She says that jealousy is a map. Often jealousy is a mask for our fear of doing something we really want to do but aren't brave enough to try. It is a mask for fear. Fear that we aren't able to get what we want, frustration that somebody else seems to be getting what we rightfully fear is ours, rightfully think is ours, even if we are too frightened to reach for it. Gives you a jealousy map. You're supposed to fill that out. One of the things that she talks about with jealousy is that if every instance when you feel like someone has something of yours, there is an action you can take to neutralize that emotion and push it in a positive direction, and that's true. I went through the jealousy map and I figured out that I am jealous of people who finish their books. I'm jealous of people who have published books. I'm jealous of people who've gone to writers' conferences. I want to go to a writer's conference or take part in a writer workshop. I can't afford one right now, but there are other ways I think to do this. So my action antidote was to check into free or inexpensive writer workshops or writer retreats, or make my own writer retreat, to read more fiction, finish my own damn book, to reach out to more in the writer community for maybe talks or whatever, to talk about things, because it feels good when you talk to somebody else and that you don't feel so alone, because this is a very solitary endeavor usually. But I did do an artist date. I just didn't do the artist date that I really wanted to do with my daughter. I have a journal. It's a beautiful Peter Popper Press journal. And I decided that I've heard such really good things about this paper that I decided I'd check it out, see if it would do watercolor. And it did. I practiced my lettering, I practiced drawing, I practiced shadow and perspective, which messed up because the coffee cup and the book are sitting on the pen. But I needed to learn how to kind of figure things out, so it was okay. And I made some mistakes, and you know what? That's okay too, because you learn from the mistakes. And this paper does hold it pretty decent. It is lined. It does make it very crinkly. I'm okay with crinkly, so I will be using this journal when one of the other ones fills up. It's a gorgeous journal, and I really do recommend the Peter Pauper Press journals. This is actually really nice paper, and it says it has 192 lined pages, acid-free archival paper. Week 7 went really well. I did my morning pages all but one day. I did good. My morning pages are going better. My biggest problem is doing them first thing in the morning. I don't really do a whole lot of anything until after I've had coffee. And for the last like 2 mornings in a row, I've actually had more cold coffee than hot coffee. I'm having hot coffee now. I have a lot of stuff going on because I am preparing for NaNoWriMo, Camp NaNoWriMo. I am cleaning up my office. I'm cleaning the house because I'm going to be watching my grandson for 2 weeks, trying to get things in order, trying to get rid of things. I'm just doing a lot of different things. I have a lot going on, and I need to remind myself that it's okay to take a break. It's okay to take 15 minutes to an hour for me and to go grab myself a cup of coffee or take my coffee with me and go to a park or go for a walk or go draw or go write or whatever. I need to do a better job of doing a real artist day instead of a mini one, and I need to remember to take time for everything else, not just certain things. Trying to find some balance. It's going pretty well though. Things are getting a lot better now. If I could just figure out how to organize my time better and how to edit videos in Power Director, I'd be a lot happier. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. I'll see you again soon. Bye.